Hello YouTube friends, Jenny here with FlossTube episode 7, and I'm so excited to be recording this because I have a finish today, which I can't wait to show you. And also I'm going to have some progress updates on a couple of projects. I'm going to have a couple of starts, including a project you haven't seen yet because I just came up with it and began it within the past 2 weeks. So hopefully this will be a really fun episode for you all to see. So let's just dive right in, and I'll start with the finish because I'm so excited. If you saw my last episode, you will not be surprised by which project I finished because this is the one I was very monogamous on last time, and it is Don't Summon Demons. I think it turned out so good. I'm so happy with it. This is all the called for colors except I think the chart said 14 count and I think this is a 20 count. It's either 20 or 18. I want to say 20 though, but all the details will be below. And the chart is by Cross Stitch with Art and you can find it on Etsy, and I'll put a link below as well. And as I've told you before, this one is a gift for our friends that love Halloween and tend to put a lot of decorations up, and they have a good sense of humor, so I hope they'll think this is really funny and enjoy hanging it up so that their guests can have a laugh as well. So I'm so pleased that this one is done and that it came out so well. And also last time I was telling you I didn't know how I was going to finish it, but I did make a decision and I bought a frame. I just got it on Amazon. I'll put a link below too in case you like it. It's this guy right here. It really looks like wood, but it's not. It's like an imitation, but I think it's so beautiful and I really liked this kind of weathered look and the color is great. Here, I'll kind of do a little fold and hold it up for you. I think that's going to really work. So I am very excited about all of this, and my goal for this week is to go ahead and get this all finished, fully finished and ready to be gifted. And I'm not sure if by the time I film my next episode I'll already have gifted it, but if so, I'll make sure I take really nice pictures of it all fully finished so that we can see that it really happened. So that was my finish. Moving on to works in progress. So I worked on 2 projects that I already had going over these past 2 weeks. And one of them kind of got most of my focus at first. So basically the first of these past 2 weeks, I focused mostly on this project that I'm gonna show you, and on the next one I'm gonna talk about. And then the next week I sort of went crazy and just started like looking at new things online and coming up with ideas and starting things. So yeah, it was a crazy couple of weeks, but I'm very inspired and excited, so it was good. But this project you've seen before. This is Hobbie. I will put up a picture of where we were at last time and also a picture of the vintage booklet that I'm working from. It's a vintage booklet, I think from the 1980s, and I'll put everything below like I said. But anyway, here is Hobbie now. So as you can see, I did an awful lot of work on her and it was so much fun. I was really looking forward to doing this patchwork apron because it's a lot of colors and it's just fun. And I was right, it was a blast. And I'm actually kind of sad that she's almost done because I really enjoyed this stitch. Even though I'm not sure this is my absolute favorite fabric to work on, but I would use it again. I like it enough that I would use it again. I definitely have to have good light with this one, but I would use it again. So yeah, that's Hobbie. Maybe she'll be a finish next time, who knows. I'm not going to promise anything because as I said, I'm very distracted by other projects right now, but we'll see. Okay, so the other project that you've already seen that I worked on, and I know you're going to be surprised to hear that I actually worked on this, but it's the Star Wars kit, and I'll put a picture of the kit up here. It's by Dimensions, and I think it's called Luke and Princess Leia, if I remember right. And if you've watched my channel before, you may have followed along with some of the drama I've been having with this project. But I think the 2 biggest problems I had with this project were, one, that the color was running on the fabric, and it was making it so that I was stressed out about putting a crease in it, didn't want to use a frame even though I always stitch with a frame and hate stitching in hand. So it was really a stress point. And then the other thing was just struggling with the chart. It's a very large chart, it's over multiple pages, and it was just the whole thing was chaotic. So I dealt with these 2 issues. And the first thing I did was wash the cloth. And I just basically put it right under the running water and kept the water running and rinsed and rinsed and rinsed. And a lot of color came out, like a real lot of color. I had to do a lot of rinsing. But once the water seemed to be almost clear, I did a couple of soaks and then rinse. I used my soak wash that I use for knits. And then after that, after the water seemed to be clear, I decided, okay, that's it. And I hung it up to dry. I didn't even look at the floss that I had already stitched on because I knew the dye was going to transfer and I'd have to rip it out and start over. I had accepted that, so fine. I just hung it up to dry and left it. And when I came back the next day, imagine my surprise when the white stitches I had made were still bright white. Like, I don't know how this miracle happened, but the dye did not seem to transfer to my stitches, so I did not have to pull anything out or start over, and that was so motivating. I was able to pop it in a frame, and that was motivating, and then I thought, okay, all I have left to deal with is the chart nightmare. So what I had done originally was, the chart is sort of like, I wish I could just show it to you so you could see, but it's sort of a very large piece of paper folded in half, and there were 2 of those, and if you put them together, it's the full chart. And there's no like overlap printed on each page to help you line it up. You just gotta kind of line it up. So it was a little confusing. And I tried to copy it by copying sort of the left side of the 2-page printout, the right side in the middle. And so I ended up with 6 pieces of paper and just trying to find the overlap and sometimes having to mark stitches that I'd finished on 2 different pages. Like, it was just chaos. So I copied it again. And this time, instead of leaving it 6 individual pages, I trimmed and glued and taped and made one big like master plan. And it's really quite large. It's like this. And I thought it would be unwieldy, but what I'm doing is just sort of folding it to get to like whatever portion I'm working on. And this is totally working. This was totally worth the effort. I've transferred all the marking for the stitches I had already done. I actually, when I did that, found a mistake that I'd made, so I was able to pull that back and restitch that. And now we're in business, and I'm going to show you, this is where it was at last time. And I did actually make progress. It's only a very small amount, so you're probably going to be like, seriously, Jenny, that hardly counts. Hold on, I'm pulling hair off of it. Okay, here we are. So it's not a ton of progress, but it's progress, and that's better than the complete lack of progress I've had for several weeks now. And also, it's gonna fly now. I started enjoying it, so yay for that, and yay for my husband who will eventually receive this gift. So that was it for works in progress. Okay, so I had 2 new starts, and this is going to be combined with just a little bit of haul. I know a lot of you are on a haul diet right now, so don't worry, it won't be anything very crazily tempting. It's just 2 items, really. And so one of the items I bought was a Nurge hoop. I absolutely love my Q-snaps. They're the best thing ever. I just love them. But some of you have mentioned absolutely loving the Nurge hoops as well, and I was a little bit curious, and they come in pink, which is my favorite, so there's that. But ultimately what made me break down and buy one is I have a couple of really small projects that I had wanted to do. I've told you about both of them before. One was the Sunset Moth, which was a really pretty moth in a cross-stitch booklet I've had forever. And the other one is called Linen Labels, and it's a design by Hello from Liz Mathews that was in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. I think I've got that name right. It was in the spring 2022 issue of the magazine. And I have the 8x8 Q-snap, but it's just it's just big and clunky when you're working on small things, and I just wanted just kind of a lower profile, smaller hoop. So I got myself a Nurge, and I ended up going with the second size from the smallest, and I sort of almost wish I got the smallest so that I could do very small projects, but I'm making this work. This works. So yeah, I have my Nurge hoop, and of those 2 small projects, I decided I would start with Linen Labels, and here is how far I am. And I just realized I don't have anything to put behind it. We'll just fold the fabric up and hope for the best. Here we go. So for this design, she recommended an overdyed floss, and I can't remember which one it was, but at the time 123 Stitch was out of stock. And I was already placing an order there for the fabric, for that, and a couple other I had like a couple of oddball things, so I didn't want to order somewhere else for one thing of floss and pay shipping. So I just went with a DMC substitute that I thought looked similar in color. This is one of the DMC variegated. I want to say it's 4140. 4140, that's the number, and I believe the color name is Driftwood, which is pretty. And I think it does really capture the feel of the prescribed floss that I didn't use. I was kind of disappointed because I've never used an overdyed, and I thought this is a great project to do it because it's so small. I mean, that's the total size of it. I have to fill in a few more little branches, but it won't be any bigger than this. So it would have been a great one. So it's too bad they're out of stock, but it's all right. So I think once I finish this, I'm going to finish it into a little pin cushion because, as you know, if you've watched my channel before, I sew big time, so I could definitely use a pin cushion. Why not? And I think what I'm going to do is put maybe a little bit of pink cotton or wool on the backing, like a deep rose, and then I think I want little pom-poms going around it. I don't know, maybe chenille, we'll see. I haven't really decided, but I'm really excited about this and it's going really well. And the Nerd-Tube, it is really nice. It locks in very securely. Like, I don't know if you can see here, but I have like no extra fabric. I do this a lot. I'm terrible. I like to use every scrap of my cloth because it's so expensive and I want to get the most out of it. So I do a lot of this, like living on the edge and having my fabric sort of slowly pull out of my frames because of that. But look at this Nerd. I mean, that's still pretty drum-like. That Nerd is going strong, so I'm impressed. I would get another one. I would use these, and also it's pink. So I'm very happy with that purchase and with that design. It's very cute. So that was one, and then the other start I have, I am so excited about, and I only have the tiniest little bit of a start to it, so it doesn't really look that impressive yet, but nonetheless, I'm really excited about this project. If you've watched before, I've mentioned about my childhood nostalgia I've been on lately, a little kick I've been on, and Hobbie was definitely a part of that. And I've just been like daydreaming a lot about making a chart of My Little Pony and all these things that I loved as a kid. And I came across, this was like several weeks, like quite a while, like a month or so ago, I came across a vintage Rainbow Bright booklet and lost my mind. I was like, that's amazing. I definitely want to stitch Rainbow Bright things. Absolutely, I do. But the copies that I could find online, they were asking quite a bit for them, sometimes like $30. And it's just, I mean, it's just a little high for a single chart is basically what I'll use it for. I won't do the whole series. I'm not that big of a Rainbow Bright fan. Rainbow Bright, that's a little hard to say. So I thought, oh well, maybe someday. And then I had an eBay watch, like a saved search, and my phone popped up and was like, hey, here's one, buy it now. I think it was like $11, including shipping or something, and I just jumped on it. And it does unfortunately have a little water damage, so it looks a little gross, but at any rate, there it is. Oh, it's so great. I just, all my 80s childhood memories come flowing back. So it's sad that it's so water damaged, but I never work off the original booklets. I always make a copy so that I can color all over it and abuse it as much as I need to. So that's just what I did. I made a copy. I'm going to show you the chart that I'm doing. There are a lot of individual ones in here, like all the little characters, a lot of characters like that. And then in the middle here, oh, here we go. And then I love these two pages. This one and that one. Hopefully you can see it all. The one I'm going to be doing here, I'm treating this book terribly. It's because it's already ruined, you know. I'm going to be doing this one here. Color the World with Love. Because I just love that one. I love the rainbow on it, like that pastel rainbow, along with like the typical bright rainbow colors that go with Rainbow Bright. I just love those two together. And so I went ahead and got a piece of fabric for it because I thought, oh, I don't have any fabric that will be good for this. So I bought a piece of 18 count Aida. And then I looked in my cross stitch supplies and there was 18 count Aida. I don't know, I'm crazy. So now I have another piece, which is kind of great because I think the 18 Aida might be my favorite, absolute favorite to work on. So I know I'll use it. And then I had like just a couple of colors that I was missing. I finally reached a point where I have enough different floss colors that when I look at a new chart, it's typically only like 3, 4, maybe 5 colors that I need, which is amazing. So I have a spreadsheet in which I track all colors I have and how many of each. I love data. I'm a data nerd. So I have that. So the other day I was actually thinking like, am I getting close to like the 500 or however many flosses they are? So I filtered down to see how many of the colors I have basically, and I have 295 of them. So I'm getting up there. But at any rate, I got the few missing colors, and here is the color palette for it. It's like magical. I absolutely love it. It makes me so happy. It's just so bright and cheerful. I love it. So I did start, but it's the tiniest start. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. It's just the top of Rainbow Braid's head, basically. But I have a feeling this is the project that's going to get most of my attention over the next couple of weeks because I'm really excited about it. Yeah, so that is all my stitching that I did in the past 2 weeks. If you're wondering about those hand embroidery projects I was talking about, the embroidery sampler with the Craftsy class I was doing and the 18th century pocket that I was going to start, I did nothing on them because I got so excited about all this cross stitching. So those kind of got a little break, but they're not off the radar. They're still sitting on my sewing table in my works in progress area. So I will probably work a little bit on those in the coming weeks as well, but we'll see. You never know. This is my hobby, so I don't want to make rigid plans and force myself to stick to them because this is the fun time. Yeah, so that's that. And then the only other thing I think I was doing stitch-wise the past couple weeks is daydreaming about all of the things I want to make. And a part of that was from charting my little rooster that I showed you in my previous couple of episodes, actually. If you haven't been here before, basically I want to do a stitch to commemorate my grandmother who passed recently, and I want it to be kind of a scene with her house and some trees and that kind of thing, but I had never charted my own design, so I've been playing around with charting, and I used this little vintage rooster picture as kind of inspiration. And I had started out doing it by hand, it didn't work out, so I, over the past couple of weeks, started using WinStitch, which is a free-to-use charting software, and you can pay, I think it's $45 to purchase it, and purchasing it allows you the ability to publish as a PDF and print, but without paying, you can still use it and do your design. And I guess you could sit in front of your computer and just work with your design up, but ultimately I think I'm going to buy it because I found out that I absolutely love charting designs. It is so much fun. I went down a huge rabbit hole. I did finish charting the rooster. I didn't start stitching him because I decided he has a lot of areas of like big blocks of one color, and I thought this is a great opportunity to use some beautiful overdyes because then you'll get that subtle variation. I think it will look so pretty, but I want to buy those in person. So I'm going to hold off on Mr. Rooster until I can get to the one local needlework store that I have and pick some colors in person. So he's on hold. But his chart is done and he looks great. And I've also started a bunch of other charts because, oh my goodness, it's so much fun. I read all the handbook, all the materials about WinStitch. There were a couple of tutorials on YouTube, watched those, played around. I'm really feeling comfortable with the software now. And it's so much fun. Oh, and one of my viewers, I wish I had written it down so that I could thank you by name, but maybe I'll put it down here. I want to thank you so much for giving me the tip of Lord, is it Libidian maybe? I'm not sure what it was, having a coupon code, because I did see that there was a coupon code, so I'm going to give that one a try. Hopefully that'll work. And I'll put links down below to everything related to WinStitch and all this kind of thing too. But anyway, thank you so much for alerting me to that, because that's great. So yeah, I'm not going to go into what I've been charting because I figure I'll show you once I start the projects. Like right now, I think mostly I'm just having fun learning it and just practicing and doing it. So it's been great. And then in addition to my own charting, I have just been looking at all the charts online. I don't know what's going on. I think I've got some sort of like total fever for starting some new projects. And I think it comes from fall being, you know, back to school is sort of like how you're brought up. Fall's back to school, you get fresh notebooks and pencils, and it's like a whole new year. And so I really think I'm wired that as the summer is winding down and we're headed towards fall, I start gearing up for fresh things. I just think it's a thing. So I've been looking at projects, and I've picked 2 that I'm going to add to my queue. And one of them is called Sewing Cats. I'll put an image in here. It's by Soda Stitch Design, who I love, by the way. If you are not familiar with this designer, you should definitely check out the Soda Stitch Designs Etsy shop, because these designs are absolutely adorable. I think I have like a good dozen of them in my maybe pile. But this one I actually went ahead and purchased because this is the perfect addition to my sewing room wall. It's so cute. I love sewing, I love cats, I just love it. So I'm definitely going to stitch this. I had almost all the colors for this as well, and the ones that I was missing I just put in a little list in my phone for the next time I'm out and about. I'm not in a huge rush because it's going to be a while before I start this, because I need to get the right fabric. And I think what I want for a fabric is an Aida, but not white. I want to use either pink or maybe like a seafoam green. And I'm not sure how I'm going to go about achieving that. And I'm sort of tempted to dye my own, because I've watched now some tutorials on that and it doesn't look so scary. I think I can do it, especially because on this one I just want a solid color, so it shouldn't be too hard. So I'm deciding whether or not I want to try to do that, which means acquiring a few supplies, or if I want to order from someone else. I did find one Etsy shop that I can't remember the name of, so I'll just pop it in here somewhere, who does, I think it's My Vintage something, but I can't remember. They do hand-dyed Aida and linen and things like that. But they had a couple of colors that were really close. I liked peony for the pink possibility, and I didn't see a true like sort of the seafoam color that I'm looking for, but Bahama Mama I think was the closest color that I saw. And you can get swatches to test, so I might order swatches. I don't know, I have to decide. Do I go purchase the fabric or dye? I don't know, we'll see. So that was one. And then the other one is that I think I'm going to do a Mirabilia. And I'm so surprised to hear myself say this, because even though the Mirabilia designs are absolutely gorgeous, they're so beautiful, I love to look at them. And if someone had stitched them and been like, hey, look what I did, I would be like, that's amazing and love it. But I never saw myself stitching them, because for me to stitch something, it has to be like, oh, I'm going to give this as a gift, or I'm going to make this into a pincushion, or it's going on this wall and this in my house here. And when I look at the Mirabilia, even though they're beautiful, I can't envision which, you know, I don't see what I'm going to do with it, basically, is what I'm trying to say, but saying very poorly. But I was looking at Mirabilia designs again the other day, and this one called Stargazer caught my eye, and oh my goodness, I don't know how I overlooked it last time. I absolutely love this design. I would hang it anywhere. So I think I'm gonna stitch this. But again, this is not gonna be an immediate one, because again, I'm gonna waffle about the fabric, and I definitely want a hand-dyed for this. I think I want a hand-dyed linen. And I was looking at a couple online, but it's so hard imagining how it's going to be in real life, because of course different monitors can display colors differently, and also these are hand dyed, so I imagine each piece is unique. So I would really like to purchase this in person, but it is so hard because there just isn't anything near me. And I know when you pop into the Google Maps for Massachusetts and type like needlework or embroidery or anything, it does come up with a bunch of results. I know there are a couple in Boston. I think there's one in like Hingham or somewhere. But these are needlepoint shops, so they sell like painted canvases and, you know, the threads that go with painted canvases. So I don't think I'm gonna have luck getting the particular hand-dyed linens that I'm looking for there. And I only know of 2 stores that are within a few hours drive of me, and one of them is a couple hours north, and I don't know if they carry the hand-dyed. I'm gonna have to call. And the other one is in North Attleboro, and it's called Stitch New England, I think, and that's the one I'm gonna try. I actually emailed a question about whether they carry the Picture This linens, because it's a couple of Picture This linen brand that I'm looking at. So we'll have to wait and see. I might just have to go there and just see what they have anyway. But yeah, hopefully I can work all that out. I haven't bought that chart yet because I'm waiting to see if I can get the right fabric, because that will make a huge difference. And also this project is going to be very expensive, so, well, comparatively, compared to my other projects that I do, because $15 chart, you know, $20+ fabric, couple missing colors. If I'm going to do the beads, all the beads, so I'm gonna have to take my time with this one. It's always easier when you buy things in pieces, isn't it, than one big lump sum. So I'll worry about the fabric first, and then once I've got the fabric, I will get the chart and everything else to go with it. Although I'm not sure about the beads. I'm not sure how I feel about beads in my cross stitch. And I'm kind of wondering if I could just stitch those areas without the beads. I don't know. Have any of you ever done that in Mirabilia without the beads? I don't know. Probably what I'll do is just get it started and work around those areas and then make a decision kind of on the fly. So we'll see. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. That's what I've been daydreaming about. I don't think I have anything really for general chatter. I'm trying to think if there's anything I wanted to say. I don't think so though. So I will see you again in 2 weeks with more project updates. And also I want to set a goal for myself. First of all, I want to have that gift, the Demons Don't Summon Demons, fully finished, framed, ready to go. But I'm going to set a goal that by the next time I film, I will have a second project fully finished. I don't know which one, but let's make that goal for myself. So 2 fully finished, because I have this bad feeling that what's going to happen is I'm going to finish things and put them in a drawer and be like, hooray, and start the next project and then never like frame them or fully finish them. So that's my goal. Hopefully, hold me to it, okay? So, all right, that's it. I hope you have a great couple of weeks. Happy stitching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.